AITA for grounding my daughter? My 38M daughter, 16F, lives with me full-time. I got married last year to my now wife Suze, 35F. We dated for 5 years, but she always clashed with Anna because of their personalities. Anna is a good kid, responsible, kind and helps around, but she's overall an introvert who doesn't like to be around people that much and enjoys her time alone in her room, while Suze is the opposite. She loves socializing, doing stuff with the people she loves, etc. She always invites Anna to help her cook, bake, do some gardening, etc. since they're both at home most of the time, but Anna always says no. Suze has ADHD. Anna is always telling Suze off because she thinks she overwhelms her with her constant need to be around her, because Suze tends to knock at her door too much. She sometimes barges and she feels she forces her to spend time together, because if Anna is on the living room, the kitchen or the garden reading, Suze just sits next to her and starts to talk and then gets sad because she doesn't like to be around her. We've attended family therapy and Anna is doing her solo sessions. I've also talked to Suze that Anna's privacy and solo time should be respected. But I don't think is a good thing that Anna refuses any kind of contact with Suze, and I don't think she's even trying at all. Anna has explained to me that being around Suze tires her quicker than any other person because she knows my wife wishes she were more expressive, talkative, and makes her uncomfortable. Yesterday I came home early and I overheard Anna yelling at Suze to get out of her room. I went to see what was happening and Anna was pushing Suze out. She said that Suze just knocked and let herself in, like she always does, while she was getting dressed. Suze was apologizing and saying that she forgot the rule, but Anna said she's tired and that dealing with Suze is worse than dealing with a small kid. This made Suze cry and I said that it wasn't nice of her and I grounded her with a week with no phone. She's not talking to me right now. And I wonder if it was wrong because she has never given me the cold shoulder. Info. Who's allowed to walk in on your daughter while she's naked? Because that's what happened. Your wife has so little respect for your daughter that she burst into her room while she was dressing. And your daughter was understandable pissed about this. And you punished her for being angry that someone came into her room while she was naked and vulnerable. Does that make you feel like a good father? YTA. Your wife appears to be incredibly needy and incredibly intrusive. It sounds like your daughter has done her best to be tolerant, to accept that your wife is your wife, and to not be rude or hateful. All she's asking for is her privacy and her right to be introverted. Your adult wife can't remember the rules, i.e. can't remember to treat your daughter with respect for her social needs. And you've punished your daughter for it. YTA. Stop letting your wife harass your daughter and get her a lock for her room. She's allowed to set boundaries, and letting your wife walk all over them sucks. YTA. How about your wife gets to know your daughter as she is, not who she wants her to be? So you're teaching your daughter that if someone doesn't respect her boundaries, and she speaks out, she is going to get punished. Your wife walked in on her naked, and didn't walk away. YTA. So, your wife crossed boundaries. Sounds like several times. And you're punishing your daughter for that? Am I reading this correctly? YTA. YTA. You are very, very wrong. Suze doesn't respect Anna's privacy at all. Who forgets that you don't just open someone's door? That isn't even a rule, it's common courtesy and respectful. Suze and you are the ones at fault here. You both owe Anna an apology for grounding her and treating her the way you do. YTA. It seems like your daughter has done everything she could to express to you that she needs space from Suze. Suze continues to violate that space requirement, and it sounds like your daughter has lost all patience for it. The person you should have been angry at is Suze. She needs to understand your daughter's personality and adjust accordingly. Trying to force your daughter to spend time with her is only going to make it worse. YTA. Your wife, who has only been living with you a year, barged in on your teen daughter in a state of undress. That's embarrassing and stressful. Suze is an adult, and it is her responsibility to remember to knock before going into Anna's room. It's a huge adjustment to have a step-parent move in when one is a teen. And it's more important than ever for everyone to respect each other's boundaries. Suze has been walking all over Anna's boundaries. No wonder Anna would rather not interact with her. YTA. Your daughter has clearly expressed her boundaries in regards to your wife. There is no excuse for a 35-year-old woman to forget constantly. Your wife does not care to respect your daughter's boundaries. And, frankly, you're not looking out for your kid in this situation. It is very reasonable for someone to snap when their requests have been dismissed for 5 years. Have a talk with your wife. Apologize to your daughter and get her a lock for her door. YTA. The defining trait of an introvert isn't that they dislike social events or taking to people. It's that they get no burst of energy from it. Extroverts feels energized by social settings with a lot of other people. Introverts might enjoy social events for a while, but then need time alone to recharge. Now imagine that you have a tiny vampire constantly sucking you dry of your energy. Who won't leave you alone ever, and is allowed to come into your room, follow you around your house, and depletes you of your energy constantly. That is an introvert's nightmare. And that is what Suze is to Anne. An energy vampire. Extroverts don't usually recognize this, because they simply don't function that way. But the more you suck someone's social energy out, the more tired they become, the more likely they are to snap. Suze is exhausting Anne of all energy, when if she respected her boundaries and let Anne have her alone time, she might actually have enough energy to interact more socially with Suze eventually. YTA. Because you are letting your adult wife disrespect your daughter's boundaries without even making an effort to understand the dynamics at play. And you're punishing Anne just because Suze cried wolf. As a fellow introvert who loves social events but needs at least one full quiet day in between each, just to recharge, I feel sorry for your daughter. ETA. Thank you, kind strangers, for the awards. Hugging face. YTA. Clearly your wife's actions are upsetting to your daughter. She has tried expressing that to you, and yet your wife continues to cause distress. I wouldn't want to be around someone who makes me uncomfortable because they seem to want me to be different than I am. You seem not at all concerned about how this is affecting your daughter. You acknowledge that her solo time should be respected, yet do nothing when your wife completely disregards this. Perhaps if she gave your daughter some space and privacy and embraced her as she is, and gave her some time to potentially open up more, things would be better. But she seems completely unable to do this. A 35-year-old woman, forgetting that she shouldn't just let herself into your daughter's room as she wishes? Ridiculous. Your wife is acting like a child, and I'd imagine your daughter feels a bit betrayed by you continuing your relationship with her when she makes her so uncomfortable. Your daughter was correct and in no way deserves to be grounded for this. YTA. You grounded your daughter because your wife doesn't know how to respect her boundaries. She's 35, not a toddler. I wouldn't be surprised if your daughter decides to go no contact when they turn 18 if you're going to keep allowing this. YTA. Introverts do get drained by people. Your spouse is walking into your child's room without permission. This has happened before. Your child was not fully dressed. You think nothing of it because you trust your spouse, but would you feel the same if your spouse was a man? I just find this so disturbing. Forcing Anna just is the opposite. She's going to therapy. That's making an effort. Leave her alone to make her own decisions about your so and respect her boundaries. YTA and Suze sounds needy and exhausting to be around. Suze walked in on Anna while Anna was getting dressed. She knocked but then barged in without Anna saying that was okay. That's a huge violation of normal privacy. Not only that, but per your account, Anna has been trying to assert her boundaries for years and Suze just keeps steamrolling her. I get that grounding your wife isn't a thing. But if anyone needs to be grounded and made to change her ways, it's your wife, not your daughter. An apology is meaningless unless the offender actually changes her behavior. Enjoy these last few years spending time with your daughter because once she's 18 and gets a job or leaves for college, she'll move out of your house and not look back. Okay, let me get this straight. You grounded your daughter for being upset that your wife barged in on her while she was changing, and instead of immediately going, "Oops, sorry," she tried to strike up a conversation with your daughter while half naked? Instead of getting onto your wife for not respecting your daughter's boundaries? By the way, this isn't an ADHD problem. ADHD is not an excuse to be barging into people's private spaces without invitation. This is a your wife choosing not to respect boundaries problem. Edit because apparently I forgot this last night. YTA. Edit 2. Okay, I'm turning off notifications for this, sorry guys. But this is blowing up my phone and I can't really have that at work. YTA. As an introvert myself, as an adult, I will leave a group of my friends and relatives to seek out some quiet. I'm a 49YO man who at times finds peace in a dark bathroom just to let my body cope with the stress. If people, I would have pushed her out of the room too. Buy an exterior lock set for Anna's door and cancel that grounding. Also, let your wife know that if the door is locked, it means she either failed to knock or didn't accept that it was a bad time and failed to respect privacy. You wife should never know if the door is locked, because she should never try the knob. YTA. Suze needs to learn to respect Anna's boundaries. I get that she seems to be trying to connect with Anna. But that connection will not come through ignoring Anna's needs and the difficult position Anna is in. Having a new stepmom is a big change, and the fact that Anna needs time to adjust should be respected. Furthermore, who wouldn't freak out if someone barged into their room while they were changing? Suze needs to understand that she is living with a teenager and teens need privacy. YTA. On the one hand is Anna. Anna is a responsible, smart 16-year-old who has clearly laid out her boundaries and asked people to respect them. She has done this so many times that it has become frustrating that no one cares about her. These include knocking before entering her room, and not being forced to spend time with your wife. She has made it very clear to you that Suze makes her uncomfortable. And she overwhelms Anna with her constant need for attention and validation. On the other hand, there is Suze. Suze doesn't respect Anna or her rules. She doesn't care about her boundaries, and always finds excuses to overstep. Suze makes everything about her and her feelings because she doesn't care about Anna. We have lots of examples. Suze wants attention while baking and gardening, but Anna wants to do her work and be quiet. Anna is being rude. Suze barges in while Anna, a 16-year-old, is changing. Anna shouldn't have so many rules. Anna sits quietly on the sofa, literally doing nothing. Suze is sad because Anna isn't paying attention to Suze. This is literally a no-brainer. You are choosing to ground your daughter who did nothing wrong in order to make your narcissistic, attention-seeking, insufferable and exhausting wife happy. You are a giant awe. And you are shattering your daughter's faith in you every time you do something like this. Your wife of 1 year is harassing your daughter to the point where Anna can't even change in her own room without Suze busting in and being dramatic. I am telling you this as someone who knows. If you do not handle this and start caring about your daughter, you will lose her. She will completely cut contact with you and Suze when she can. Because neither of you care about her emotional and mental health needs, even when she very clearly explains them to you. Your wife is a 35-year adult capable of leaving the house to make friends of her own age. Your daughter is 16 and had to adapt with another person moving into and living in the home. Suze doesn't respect your daughter's time and space. Suze made it a habit of continuing to bother your daughter and she isn't backing off, which is disrespectful. Suze's ADHD doesn't excuse her, so I don't know why you threw that fact in unless you're helping her use her ADHD as a shield to hide behind so that she never faces consequences. Suze is being emotionally manipulative. She shouldn't put her socialization on a child. Anna is 16 and is able to be on her own when she wants to spend her time alone. She doesn't have to socialize with people she doesn't want to. Having to play host to a person like Suze is annoying, and it is in fact draining because you're spending an awful lot of time trying to act pleasant when all you want to do is have a minute of quiet. Suze barged into Anna's room uninvited again, and no, she didn't just forget. Many people live with ADHD and don't simply forget rules that have been in place for years. The people that do are only being willfully ignorant, and they give all of us with ADHD a bad representative. We don't like people like Suze. You're punishing Anna for Suze's actions, which is wrong on so many levels. You're gonna lose your daughter, and it will be 100% on you for laying down boundaries with the wrong person. Suze is the one with the million issues that she needs to fix. YTA.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.